supreme one. Yahuwah is Akkad. Yahuwah, your supreme one, with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words which I command you this yom shall be in your heart. Teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your bed, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. To fall to what?
To bind to the mind.
To bind to the mind. I say it consistently. Give the Torah access to your mind. And you shall write them upon the posts of your bed and on your gates. And it shall be, I shall have brought you into the land which he swore unto your Abbas, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Yaakov, to give you great cities which you did not build, houses full of all great things which you filled not, and wells dug which you did not dig, vineyard and olive trees which you did not plant. When you shall have eaten and be full, then beware lest you forget Yahuwah, which brought forth out of the land of Mitzrayim from the bed of slavery. Verse 12, I just want to take a pause right here. This is a time when people began to prosper. Then beware lest you forget Yahuwah, which brought you forth out of the land of Mitzrayim. How do we forget? Because when you become full and the needs financially or economically are no longer pressing upon you, this is where the enemy begins to do his greatest deception and begins to do his greatest work in the lives of us as believers. Somebody will say, how so? Because then we forget the need for the Abba in our lives. Because we feel like, okay, well, I need this, I just go buy it. I want that, I just go buy it. Well, I have need of that, just go buy it. And that is one of the things that can become very detrimental to our belief and our stand as a people. I'm not saying we're supposed to struggle. I'm not saying that, so please don't take what I am saying out of context. But what I'm saying is that it is in these times that prosperity comes into our lives, that if we're not careful, we will find ourselves forgetting what the Abba has told us. He said, lest you forget. Why is there a warning there? Because when you are able to become comfortable in a situation that normally you were not comfortable in, having to worry about how I'm going to get this paid, and man, I got to pay this and pay that, and this is going to take all that, and that's going to take all this. And now when you get to a point in your life that those things are not as relevant as before, then what will the enemy do? He will use that as a means to try to defeat you and overthrow your belief in the Abba, to where you will begin to believe and have more belief in yourself than in the Abba. So it's important that we really be mindful of this verse here, verse 12. Verse 13, you shall fear Yahuwah your power and serve him, and shall swear by his name. You should not go after the power of the people about you. Verse 15, for Yahuwah your power is a jealous power among you, lest the anger of Yahuwah your power be kindled against you, and he destroy you from off the face of the earth. You shall not tempt Yahuwah your power as you tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahuwah your power and his testimonies and his statutes which he has commanded you. And you shall do that which is right in the sight of Yahuwah, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possess the great land which Yahuwah swore to your Abbas. And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. Very important for us to understand this. Now we're going to turn our attention to the scroll of Nun, the son of Yahush, the son of Nun. I'm sorry. Turn our attention to chapter 1, Yahush, the son of Nun. And we're going to read verse 7 and recite verse 8. And it is so.
And it is so.
All right, we need everybody to come on. Verse 7 says, only be you strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the Torah which Moshe my servant commanded you. Turn not from it to the right nor to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. Verse 8, I'm going to give everybody time to get in place so we can recite this together. And it is so.
And it is so.
Allah, Yahuwah, we praise you for healing. We praise you for deliverance. We praise you for the victory. We praise you. We praise you. We praise you. Because your arm is not too short that it cannot save, neither your ear dull of hearing the cries of us, your people.
That's right.
We told you, Abba Yahuwah, for your will and for your instructions for our lives. We praise you. We praise you. We praise you. Worthy, 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 worthy. He's worthy. Come on, praise him. He's worthy. He's worthy. He's worthy. He's worthy. Yes, he is. You're worthy. You're worthy. You're worthy. You're worthy. You're worthy. Come on, praise him. Worthy, 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 worthy. Come on, he's worthy. He's worthy. You're worthy. You're worthy. You're worthy. Worthy, 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 worthy. He's worthy. Verse 8. Repeat with me. I will not let the scroll of the Torah.
I will not let the scroll of the Torah
depart out of my mouth.
depart out of my mouth.
But I shall meditate in it.
But I shall meditate in it.
Yom and Layla.
And Layla.
That I may observe to do.
That I may observe to do.
According to all that is written in it.
According to all that is written in it.
For then I shall make my way prosperous.
And then I shall make my way prosperous.
And then I shall act wisely.
And then I shall act wisely.
Now look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, you shall act wisely.
And you shall act wisely.
Look at your other neighbor and tell your other neighbor, you shall act wisely. And you shall act wisely. Now take your hand and place it over your heart and say, Abba Yahuwah, I shall act wisely.
I shall act wisely.
Come on, Abba Yahuwah,
Abba Yahuwah,
I shall act wisely.
I shall act wisely.
I endeavor
to
act wisely.
act wisely.
I endeavor to act wisely.
To act wisely.
Come on, I endeavor to act wisely. And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. It is so important that we endeavor to act wisely. And when we endeavor to act wisely, we will find ourselves truly, truly walking in the Baruch of the Abba, because he's worthy of all praise and esteem. Mishlei 15:8. The sacrifices of the wicked is an abomination, hateful and exceedingly offensive unto you, Abba Yahuwah. But the prayer of the upright, it is his delight. He delights to hear our prayers. Prayer is a time or a mode of communication. And so it is important that we communicate with him.
God.
Mishlei 3:4. So shall you find great understanding and high esteem in the sight or judgment of Yahuwah and man. So it's a twofold. Yahuwah gives us esteem, and man has to follow in that.
Right.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Tehillim 1:1. Baruch is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the unrighteous, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the instructions of the Abba, and he doth meditate upon it. And it is so.
And it is so.
Ibram 11:6. But without belief, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahuwah must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. And it is so.
And it is so.
Tehillim 34:15. The eyes are upon the upright, and his ears are open unto our cry. Verse 17. The upright cry, and Yahuwah heareth and delivereth us out of all our troubles. Masa, Acts 1:8. But we shall receive power. After that, the Ruach HaKodesh is come upon us, and we shall be witnesses unto him both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Shamar and unto the uttermost part of the earth. And it is so.
And it is so.
Ayah 33:4. The Ruach HaKodesh of Yahuwah hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. Somebody say he's a life giver.
He's a life giver.
Say it again. He is a life giver.
He is a life giver.
Yes, he is. Micah 3:8. But truly I am full of power by the Ruach of Yahuwah, and of judgment and of might, to declare unto Yaakov his transgression, and to Yasharal his sin. And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. Now we want to turn our attention to the scroll of Yehukanan Aleph, chapter 5, verses 1-15. I read it to keep us aware and to keep us on guard, to guard the very precious gift that the Abba has given unto us through his son, Yahush Mashiach. For we have come to understand that in this time, as it was even then, there are many that oppose and just blatantly disrespect the gift that the Abba has given unto us by way of his son, Yahush HaMashiach. And it is important that we understand that without the renewed covenant and without understanding its principles and understanding its connection, just as a mother and the baby has a connection to the placenta, it is important that you don't cut your lifeline. For the moment you do that, you will cease from living. And so it is important that we understand that the same fight that we have is the same fight that Yehukanan had. He was dealing with Gnosticism, which means knowledge. People that have a form of knowledge, we know the writings say having a form of uprightness, but denying the power thereof. It is important that we understand that many are walking because they've fallen for the lie. Many have fallen for the Gnostic way of living. And because of this, many have been blindsided, and many have been really just thrust out of this race. Why? Because they have taken the bait of the enemy to believe that the Mashiach does not exist, to believe that those that have come and presented this, information that has been hidden and nobody else has known it. And this is where you have to be careful. Because whenever you start following in that mindset, this was hidden and only the elite, the esoteric folk will be able to understand and have it, you're going to find yourself walking into a whole lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Are you following me?
Yes.
So it is important that we please be mindful of the very things that the Abba has given unto us. And he's given us life through his son. One of the things that we must never do, never ever try to monopolize his character. Never ever try to box him in and say what he will and what he won't do. He is sovereign. If he chose today to rewrite everything, he can do so.
That's right.
He can do so because he's sovereign. He answers to nobody but himself.
That's right.
And so it is important that we as humans, flesh and blood, that we recognize he is sovereign and that whatever he chooses to do, and I'm not saying that he will change what he's doing in midstream, but you better recognize and understand if he chooses to do that, he can. He is all power.
Mm-hmm.
And he can do so. And so we should never box him in. The thing that I've come to understand him, you must be filled with the Ruach.
Okay.
Because without the Ruach, you will constantly be trying to figure out, well, why did he say this? Well, why did he do that? Whenever you start trying to interpret and try to understand based upon your own understanding who the Abba is and the significance and the importance of his son on your own, you're going to find yourself in a place of derision. And if you're not careful, you will find yourself reasoning your way out of truth.
That's right.
Because you'll be listening to everything that sounds reasonable. You have to move your mindset from logic to understanding the principles of the Abba. And it is so.
And it is so.
And that's why we need Yahush in our lives, because he helps us to understand and to be able to relate. Without him, you can't. So it's important that we understand. Are y'all following me?
Yes.
Very important. All right, chapter 5, and I pray that everyone has their sword and that you'll turn to it, because I want you to read it just like I read it. I want you to look upon it just as I look upon it. Because there is truly power in his word, in his instructions for our lives.
Okay.
Very important. Important. All right. When you have to say it is so.
And it is so.
Need a few more minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Chapter 5, Yehukan. Aleph.
And it is so.
And it is so. And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. All right. Beginning at verse 1. Everyone who believes that Yahush is the Mashiach has been born of Who?
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah. And everyone who ahabs the one bringing forth also ahabs the one having been born of him. Talking about Yahuwah and Yahush. By this we know that we ahab the children of Yahuwah, when we ahab Yahuwah and guard his commands. For this is the ahab for Yahuwah, that we guard his commands, and his commands are not difficult. Because everyone having been begotten of Yahuwah overcomes the world. And this is the overcoming that has overcome the world, our belief. Our belief. Who is the one who overcomes the world but he who believes that Yahushua of Yahuwah? Now I want to take a break right here, just real quick. Now in verse 4, it says, because everyone having been begotten of Yahuwah overcomes the world, and this is the overcoming that has overcome the world, our belief. Even, you know, in the secular arena, they don't believe in Yahush, but many of them don't believe in Jesus either. So across the board, they don't believe. And this is why we have to overcome the world, because the world has no belief in anybody but itself. The world has no belief in anything but itself. And so it is important that we understand that this is how we overcome the world and its tactics, and overcome its ideologies, idiosyncrasies. We can overcome all these things. Why? Because we have belief in the Mashiach. And the Abba strengthens us in our belief. Verse 5, who is the one who overcomes the world but he who believes that Yahush is the son of Yahuwah? That is a question. This is the one that came by water and blood. And so now he begins to give a testimony. Yahush Mashiach, not only by water, but by water and blood. It is the Ruach who bears witness, because the Ruach is the truth. Because there are three who bear witness, the Ruach and the water and the blood, and the three are in agreement. If we receive witness, the witness of men, the witness of Yahuwah is greater, because this is the witness of Yahuwah, which he has witnessed concerning his son. The one who believes in the Son of Yahuwah has the witness in himself. The one who does not believe Yahuwah has made him a liar, because he has not believed the witness that Yahuwah has given concerning his son. And this is the witness that Yahuwah has given us, eternal life. And this life is in his son. He who possesses the son, possesses life. He who does not possess the Son of Yahuwah does not possess life. That means they are the walking dead. They have no life. There is no life in them. Verse 13. I have written this to you who believe in the name of the Son of Yahuwah, so that you know that you possess everlasting life, and so that you believe in the name of the Son of Yahuwah. And this is the boldness that we have in him, that if we ask whatever according to his desire, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we have asked of him. And it is so.
And it is so.
For us to understand, there is no way to lose when we follow the instructions of the Abba. It is his desire to baruch us, listen at this, with understanding. Everything else is coming. Prosperity is coming to those of us that walk up right before him. He said it, that he would cause these things to happen to us. He even tells us in Malachi, he would not allow our fruit to come forth, or he would not allow our vine to cast forth its fruit before the timing in the field, says the Abba. In other words, prosperity is ours if we just remain committed. In other words, during the times where the seasons seem like they're a little off, our stuff won't come. You know how people had to deal with, I think it was last year, when the crops many of the crops ended up getting damaged because of what? The winter snap. That meant the vine did what? It put forth in the time that it thought it was ready for the season, and in actuality, it was not. So what happened? They ended up losing. And what the Abba is saying, I won't let your vine be tricked or fooled into believing it's time to produce, but I will cause it to wait till the timing is right, and then it will bring forth, and you won't lose, but you will gain. This is so important for us as the children of Yahshua. And it is so.
And it is so.
It is important that we never, ever, I don't care. Now, you have to understand, when you pray is not about a feeling, because many times when we get up, we don't feel like talking. There are times you don't feel like talking to anybody. And so it is important that we understand it's not based upon a feeling, but it's based upon a command and based upon us building relationship. And when you build a healthy relationship, it is important that you understand communication is the key to a healthy relationship. You don't communicate because you feel like it. You communicate because it's what? Necessary. It is necessary, because if you don't communicate, all kind of things can happen, and all kind of things can pop up in the mind, and all kind of things can happen. And if you don't, deal with those things, you will find yourself really in a very, very, very bad situation, especially dealing with relationship. And it is so.
And it is so.
All right. We're going to do our affirmations, then we're going to do our declaration, and then we're going to seal it. Once again, the importance of having affirmations for our lives is to keep us mindful and to keep us to adhere to the instructions of the Abba, and to remember that no matter what situation we find ourselves in, we must remember it is about the race. The race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but to he that does what? Endures to the end. The same shall be what? Saved. This is important. Endurance is how you're able to outlast, but endurance doesn't come unless you build it. Unless you build it. It's just like bodybuilding. It's just like, working out. Unless you build endurance, you won't be able to withstand the pressure. It's even like weight building. They build up to that. Why? Because they're able to endure 5 pounds, then 10, then 15, then 20, and on up the scale. But you have to build endurance. It's the same way with our walk. Endurance is key, and you have to remind yourself on a constant basis. I can't become like my surroundings. I cannot get so engulfed and involved with my surroundings that I forget I'm not here to stay. I'm not trying to make a living here in this land. Are y'all following me?
Yes.
But I do have to live. But I'm not trying to stay here. And so we have to remain focused so that we don't lose our focus. And let me tell you something, when you make up your mind to be focused, the enemy comes up with all kind of tactics. He comes up with all kind of things to try to discourage you, from people trying to discredit you, from people trying to bash your name, from people doing all kind of crazy stuff. Really, because you have to understand the mode of the enemy is to try to get you to the point that you give up. Because he knows that when you give up, all he got to do is keep waiting, and he gonna rape right on the sideline to affect you even more. And most of the time when people give up, it is hard to win them back. Why is it hard to win them back? Because you have to understand, when they were in it, they were halfway in it. So when they get out of it, they get out of it wholeheartedly. So now you got to convince them that where they were, they needed to do better. But then in their mind, they're thinking, but I was doing all I could do. I was doing my best. Let me tell you something. We will never put our best out there, and the Abba will never, ever respond to it.
Right.
See, that basically, when we do that, we're trying to put that on him, and you can never put it on him. Just need to look in the mirror and say, no, it's you. It's me. I made that mistake. There is no fault in him. And so it is important that we understand that the more we push into being stable and to being consistent and affirming ourselves in this walk, the harder it is for the enemy to dethrone us. What do I mean by dethrone us? I'm talking about getting you and me out of the race. Because, see, you got to understand, and I ain't talking about sitting up there taunting him and saying, you should have done this. No, you don't do nothing. Stay out of my life. See, because that's just religious talking, and that's just religion talking. People talking about, well, when he had me, you start thinking, if he really would have had you, do you think he'd let you go? If he, just like a lion, lions don't let their prey go. They don't let their prey go. When they are out to get what they have set their sights on, that's why they prey on them. That's why they basically follow them. They hunt them. You think he's hunting us to just let us go? He's hunting us to destroy us. And that's just religion, and that's just self-righteous folk talking. When he had me, if he really would have had you, trust me, bro, trust me, sis, he would not have let you go. But he really didn't have you. So it's important that we understand we don't have to talk all that. What we do need to do is affirm our walk on a day-to-day basis. When you find yourself getting in that position and you feel like, oh my, Abba Yahuwah, I need your help, because this right here is trying to get me here. They trying to get me. I ain't gonna let them get me though. I ain't gonna let it get me. And you have to really cry out to him. I ain't gonna let this get me. I ain't gonna let it take me in the way that this flesh want me to go. I'm trying to maintain, and I need your help. And when you truly cry out to him in sincerity and say, I really need your help, he will send help.
Come on.
He will send help to you. And next thing you know, you'll be going on doing something else. You be forgot about all that you were dealing with in that time frame. Because we have more important things to deal with. Are you following?
Yes.
And we don't have time to be, dealing with people that, they say, you hear the people say, because my haters, I don't have time to deal with haters.
Come on.
I want to focus on them that harm me. That's what's important. Because the ones that harm you, them the ones you want to harm back. Where people will be talking about that because you give more credit and more attention to people that hate you. Give the attention to the ones that harm you. Celebrate them. This, that, and the other. Leave the rest of them folk alone and let them go about their way. Because one thing about it, it's gonna fizzle out anyway. And so it's important that we keep affirmations in our hearts and that we continue to find ourselves, affirming ourselves in this walk and in this truth. And it is so.
And it is so.
Repeat with me. I purpose to develop my ruach.
I purpose to develop my ruach.
I purpose to walk in the light of Torah.
I purpose to walk in the light of Torah.
I am Ibrahim.
I am Ibrahim.
I am born again.
I am born again.
I am Ibrahim.
I am Ibrahim.
I have the life and nature
I have the life and nature
of Yahuwah in my ruach.
of Yahuwah in my ruach.
That life is the Torah
That life is the Torah
of Yasharal.
of Yahshua.
I purpose to walk in
I purpose to walk in
the Torah of life.
the Torah of life.
Yahuwah's Torah,
Yahuwah's Torah,
Yahush,
Yahush,
is in me.
is in me.
Yahuwah's knowledge
Yahuwah's knowledge
is in me.
is in me.
Yahuwah's Ahab
Yahuwah's Ahab
is in me.
is in me.
Yahuwah's power
Yahuwah's power
is in me.
is in me.
Yahuwah's wisdom
Yahuwah's wisdom
is in me.
is in me.
He is teaching me.
He is teaching me.
He is leading me.
He is leading me.
I am a child of Yahuwah.
I am a child of Yahuwah.
The Ruach
The Ruach
HaKodesh
HaKodesh
of Yahuwah in me
of Yahuwah in me
is leading me.
is leading me.
Follow her leading.
I'll follow her leading.
I'll walk in the Torah.
I'll walk in the Torah.
Yahush,
Yahush,
our Mashiach.
our Mashiach.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Our declaration of healing and shalom for the Sabbath. Repeat with me, Abba Yahuwah,
Abba Yahuwah,
in the name of Yahush,
in the name of Yahush,
our Mashiach.
our Mashiach.
We subdue ignorance
We subdue ignorance
with Torah knowledge.
with Torah knowledge.
And through this knowledge
And through this knowledge
of Torah truth,
of Torah truth,
we claim healing,
we claim healing,
shalom,
shalom,
deliverance,
deliverance,
and salvation.
and salvation.
We decree
We decree
Torah truth
Torah truth
in the lives
in the lives
of your people,
of your people,
our people,
our people.
Yasharal.
Yahshua.
We unite,
We unite
not to fight,
not to fight,
not to fight
not to fight
each other,
each other,
each other,
each other,
but the enemy
but the
of
enemy
our belief.
of our belief.
And it is so.
And it is so.
I decree and declare a time of rest, shalom, and truth in Yahuwah through Yahushua HaMashiach. And it is so.
And it is so.
Now, as we stand to bow before our King to recite this before him, he is our King. And as such, we want to bow before him. And this is our time of our confession. And it is so.
And it is so.
Let us bow and let us repeat this together. May the utterance of my mouth
May the utterance of my mouth
and the deliberation of my heart
and the deliberation of my heart
be desirable before you,
be desirable before you,
O Yahuwah,
O Yahuwah,
my Rob
my rock
and my Redeemer.
and my redeemer.
May the utterance of my mouth
May the utterance of my mouth
and the deliberation of my heart
and the deliberation of my heart
be desirable before you,
be desirable before you,
O Yahuwah,
O Yahuwah,
my Rob,
my rock,
my Rob,
my rock,
my Rob,
my rock,
and my Redeemer.
and my redeemer.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so.
We have just recited Tehillim 19 and 14, and it is so. Let us have one more song as we prepare to transition into the second portion of our time of Sabbath class. You're the beginning and forever. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. You're the beginning and forever. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. You're the beginning. You're the beginning and forever. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. You're the beginning. You're the beginning and forever. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. And we give you all. We give you all the esteem. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. And we give you all. We give you all the esteem. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. You're the beginning. You're the beginning and forever. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. You're the beginning. You're the beginning and forever. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. And we give you all. We give you all the esteem. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. And we give you all. We give you all the esteem. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. You're the beginning. You're the beginning. And forever. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. And we give you all. We give you all the esteem. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. And we give you all. We give you all the esteem. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. You are worthy. You are worthy to be praised. You are worthy. You are worthy to be praised. And we give you all. We give you all the esteem. We worship Yahuwah. You are worthy to be praised. You are worthy. You are worthy to be praised. You are worthy. You are worthy to be praised. You are worthy. You are